From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. In today's recording, we go over the breaking news about the Build Back Better Act, the fourth stimulus recon, the CR for stimulus, and yes, breaking news right today, as members of Congress are ready to get a new economic recovery bill out the door as early by the end of this week to give you money. They've heard your messaging about CR for stimulus, and they're ready to do much the same. In tonight's breaking news report, direct from Santa Monica, California, we'll go over what these bodies of economic relief would look like, what are the possibilities, and what are the incredible items. Then we'll be going over back into that recon that has big checks for you that still will go over the finish line. It's called the Build Back Better Act that has at least $15,000 of checks in there to start, with $45,000 coming on top of that with Senate changes of third stimulus, MSC, fifth stimulus, and more. Plus, we'll be looking at the opportunity for the president to do fifth stimulus by executive order and the other opportunities for the president to do monies without an act of Congress. It's all brand new as the signal has gotten heard. CR for stimulus 2022 back on this channel a week ago. And now tonight, members of Congress saying, you know what? You're right. We need an economic recovery plan, and it needs to be something other than the Build Back Better Act in addition to it, and we're going to get it done as early as the end of this week. The breaking news starts right here, right now, as Afternoons LA gets underway with a lot of brand new details, starting from Santa Monica, California. And here we go. The House of Representatives said in comments ago that there must be another economic plan in addition to the Build Back Better Act. And this comes less than 7 days ago when I brought CR for stimulus back in the mix. CR for stimulus getting checks out to you with another economic plan. And that's what the House of Representatives said minutes ago. Have we been heard? I'll have you judge the situation. It's coming up tonight in this big breaking news report. Plus, we'll be going over what Bernie Sanders said. Is he making the situation harder for the Build Back Better Act? Plus, because the president do executive order or executive action for fifth stimulus, get you more money every month if you're on SSI, SSDI, a lot more than SS200, and it could happen no less than 30 days. I'll have those answers as well in today's recording. We have a lot of breaking news. You've never seen a recording like this. And with that, I want you to subscribe. You're watching a special edition of Afternoons LA direct from Santa Monica, California. Hit that subscribe button. This, my friends, is LALATE, the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, with breaking news across the board, a channel that brought Americans the $600 stimulus check in the continuing resolution of 2020. And tonight, new indications from Congress that they want to do something very similar. Boy, it's heating up. So subscribe, like the video, and consider becoming a member. The membership link is under the video. We're going to first go over the incredible money of this Build Back Better Act. Then we'll be turning over to CR for stimulus and what Congress has said minutes ago. It's incredible details, but first let's turn to that Build Back Better Act. Knowing all those checks that are in there, let's going to go over each of them one at a time. 3 clusters and 3 add-ons that add up to at least $15,000, but potentially far more to nearly $60,000 of checks. And that first cluster, here we go. Hazard pay got in there for my essential workers, 1 more year, the earned income tax credit. Then $4,000 of elder care got it in there. $4,000 to care for young children got in there as well. $3,600 of CTC 1 more year got it in there. $550 check for the Pell Grant recipients. $12,500 got in there as well. for the purchase of a new electric vehicle and money to repair the home if you live in a low-income community. Wow, that is incredible. Now, there is, in this recon, 3 clusters of checks and 3 add-ons. Let's go to the first add-on of checks, and it comes from here in Southern California from Maxine Waters. She got that provision added in there. And what is it? It is money to buy your first home. She wanted to give you $25,000, but it's a little bit less. It's huge, which tees up now the second cluster of checks. Let's look at that right now. Home repairs and paid leave, got it in there. These home repairs are to weatherize your home. The paid leave, however, is a lot of money. And what is it? It is for individuals who have to stay home due to illness of themselves or a family member. How much is it? A lot of money. $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. If you make $35,000 or more per year, it is $800 a week. If you make $15,000 or more per year, it is $400 a week. How many weeks? Up to 4 weeks per year. That is $4,000 to $6,000 on the high end. And it's W-2, 1099, you all get it. Now, if you don't work, but your son or daughter does work, they're going to get the check to take you to the doctor once a week if they have to take off from work as well. That is huge, and that is the second cluster of checks. And with that, that tees us up for the second add-on of checks, and it comes from the incredible Bob Casey out of Pennsylvania. $250 billion, just a little bit less, for free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. Wow. That brings us now to the third cluster of checks. You're ready? Deliciousness. I see Bonnie in the live chat. How is everyone doing? Jump in the live chat and tell me how you are and how the weather is across the board. Well, in that third check cluster, we have in there the free internet. Also, the money for the farmers, the money for the independent contractors. Then we have the free school meals for all checks. And then we have the benefits for the seniors. 2 on the House, 3 on the Senate. On the House, they have in there the Medicaid gap fix and the hearing checks. On the Senate side, they vow to add in their dental, vision, and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare. Incredible details across the board. But guess what? That's par for the course of what we're talking about when adding provisions in there on the Senate side, like the third add-on. If you're in the live chat right now, write those 3 letters. If you know what they are MSC. What is MSC? How much is it? Who gets it? Where do we get it? And why is CR for Stimulus getting so heated today with brand new details tonight? Let's go over that MSC starting right now. It is a body of instrument that would be added to the Build Back Better Act that will provide a monthly IRS stimulus check. MSC stands for monthly IRS stimulus check, where the checks go out from IRS on a monthly basis. There are multiple checks in this for stimulus recon, so no time or place to get confused. This is addition to that. All right, who gets it? Single individual, $75,000 or less, we get it. Married couple, $150,000 less annual income, we get it. Double it, says senators to viewers this channel, tens of thousands of viewers. Then if you're a family of 4, you would get it as well. Independent adult dependents would get it. People on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or railroad benefits, you qualify as well. The fourth stimulus money is not income. It ain't taxable, and it's nationwide benefits. It's not state-by-state benefits, which then brings us to the question of how much? How much is this? Legislators have told tens of thousands of viewers this channel it's $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. And there you go for up to 6 months. That is MSC, which then brings us to the question of how. And that's where it gets very interesting tonight, my friends, as we go over the latest details of CR for Stimulus that are brand new tonight, and we go over what the House of Representatives has said in the last few hours today. Boy, folks, it's getting very interesting, and let's go over all the details of it right now. So far in this recording, we have been addressing one bill, the Build Back Better Act passed in the House in November of 2021. It's also called the Forced Stimulus Recon, the Forced Stimulus Package, or the Social Spending Bill. It is now in the Senate. For senators to have a Senate bill, they need to make changes. They haven't made those changes just yet to add provisions. They're not going to remove anything. They would add in subcommittee, then call for a bill vote on the Senate floor, then have a 2-day vote-a-rama. Those events have not happened yet. We have Warren, Wyden, Sanders, Schumer, a lot of people saying that they have a lot to add in there. That would happen on the Senate floor vote. But There's an opportunity to get you money sooner than the Build Back Better Act, the BBB. That was debuted on this channel a week ago. CR for Stimulus 2022. What is it? And what is its history? Let's take it back 2 years earlier. Back in 2020, we were at the tail end of a very confusing time. What was happening? Well, in spring of 2020, the first stimulus package had ended, and millions of Americans were still in that time of need. So there was a proposed second stimulus package that was thousands of pages in length that was proposed. The negotiators at the time, Nancy Pelosi on behalf of the Democrats, Steve Mnuchin on behalf of the Republicans, the Treasury Secretary, they negotiated in the spring of 2020, no deal. Then summer, then fall, then December, winter, no deal. And so by December 2020, one particular day I sat back and I said, you know what, we have a problem here. And the problem is the second stimulus package is very big. It's thousands of pages in length. We have two negotiators that aren't negotiating to a finality. And number three, we don't have a deadline. What if we had a bill with a deadline that was easier? Could we get a check out to the American people? So I looked left and right and I high and low, and finally I found the idea. A continuing resolution. What is it? Every few months, the federal government must pass a bill to fund the federal government's operation. Run the national parks, run the federal buildings. It's called the Continuing Resolution. CR has a lot of other names. The good thing about it is it's done bipartisan, and number two, it has to get done within a few days, upwards of a week, not several months delayed. Why? If you delay it, the federal government defaults. No one wants the federal government defaulting. So, to prepare to go on camera and record before you, I prepared the advocacy for what it was going to be, and also I prepared for the reaction to the negativity I was going to anticipate. Then the recording came. I said, hey, LA. Hey, everybody, it's LA. It's December 2020, and we've been looking at the negotiations of a potential second stimulus for months. It's been 11 months. Two people negotiating. They're not done. It's now December 2020, and they have no inherent deadline. What if we put a check into another bill, not the second stimulus package, that has a deadline of December 2020, called the continuing resolution, that has to get done by that deadline? Then if it gets done and the check is in there, the check goes out. Viewers love the idea. A deadline, quick, fast, not complicated, not a massive bill. Done. And viewers started pushing. I launched that campaign. I created the idea. I created the concept. Hashtag CR for stimulus. If you're in the live chat right now, write that hashtag campaign. Well, we pushed. And immediately the negative reaction came in. Doesn't belong in there, LA. That's crazy. It's a bill to fund the federal government. It's for the federal government's money, not for the American people's money. It doesn't belong in there. I reacted to the naysayers with my proposed and prepared response. You're right. It doesn't belong in there. That doesn't mean you can't put it in there, because you've been doing that all along. Since the start of time, Congress has passed legislation where they insert provisions in there that don't belong. And during the pandemic, they were notorious for this. A stimulus package passed for COVID relief where money was going to foreign military governments. A COVID relief bill passed that proposed in there to put money to build a new FBI building. A COVID relief bill proposed that was to give money to the Department of Copyrights. Doesn't belong in there. So I said, you try to do stuff for things that don't belong in there. Why not put our checks in there that don't belong? We pushed. I created the idea. You pushed. And one morning we woke up in December 2020 and we heard there will be stimulus in the continuing resolution. Unemployment stimulus. We said, oh no, that's not what we're asking for. We're asking for a stimulus check. So we pushed again, and suddenly it became a reality. The $600 stimulus check that millions of Americans got was the creation of this channel and my recordings in which I said, put it into the CR, the continuing resolution. That's what you got paid in December or January that year. The second stimulus check never happened. There never was a second stimulus package. It never got a vote. It never became law. This was a CR for stimulus. So a week ago on this channel, I made the recording. Do you want to bring it back? It looks like we need another CR for stimulus 2022 now. The similarities were clear. 11 months of negotiating, 2 people negotiating, no deal done, no deadline. Why not do it again? So we pushed. And tonight, folks, we have an update. Tonight, House Democrats are now saying publicly that while they still support the Build Back Better Act, the forced stimulus recon, and they still believe it will become a law, we need another economic relief package that is done quicker, faster, and out the door, even at the same time as the Build Back Better Act or before it, and it needs to be done right away. And the great news is that Congress is doing it and may have one ready as early as the end of this week. In the second half of the breaking news report tonight on Afternoons at LA, a special report, we're going to go over the 1, 2, 3, 4 proposals that they have for economic relief. What are the different bills? I know this is going to sound complicated because we're going from just Build Back Better Act to now other bodies of legislation they're looking at to get economic relief out. We're going to compare what economic relief is versus social reform. Very different bodies of legislation. Will then turn back into what the president can do to give you additional sums of money right today, especially if you're on SSI, SSDI, and Social Security Administration benefits. Then we'll be looking at what Bernie Sanders has done yet again today. If you've been watching the recordings of this channel in the last week, we've had problems with the progressives with Ron Wyden and Jalapal and Bernie. Well, guess what? Bernie's back again, and it's not good for the Build Back Better Act. Plus, we'll be looking at the big money, and we'll be looking at where the economy is tonight and why Congress is now realizing there's another seats for stimulus at issue. It's the one party that does the economy right that'll win the seats. Those details coming up in a breaking news report of Afternoons LA. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds with lots of checks for you to get. It's third stimulus. Lots of checks laying in this recording. Stay to the very end. See you back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now as Afternoons LA goes into the second part of a breaking news report. As Congress is now looking at other bodies of legislation to get economic relief out the door, in addition to the Build Back Better Act, oh boy, CR for stimulus has been heard, and we're going to go over the latest brand new details tonight of why Congress believes economic relief must be done right away. In addition to the Build Back Better Act, it's a huge recording. It's coming up in the second half. Plus, we'll be looking at what Bernie said again today and how it impacts the recon. We'll be looking at student loan debt forgiveness and the opportunity for the president to send out money out the door by repurposing or changing guidelines today. It's brand new and it's only here on LA. It's a lot of breaking news and I'm excited you're here. But first, I want you part of this incredible family and go into this video and subscribe. I want you part of this incredible family and be part of the incredible advocacy for all these incredible sums of money out the door. We have a lot coming up in today's recording with all these incredible monies in this recon and the opportunity to get that COLA raise out the door. Boy, here we go. And with that second half, away we begin. The House Democrats now making very clear that they want economic policies to be passed as early as the end of this week. Wow. Let's take it back a step. We have the Build Back Better Act covered before the commercial break. And then I told you that I was proposing CR for stimulus by putting a stimulus check in another body of legislation, namely the budget bill. That budget bill has a deadline of February 2022, just a few weeks away from now. Well, Congress apparently has heard us because now, late today, we have comments from Representative Pete Aguilar who says the Democrat caucus must pass economic policy in the next few days or weeks because Build Back Better Act is not going over the finish line just right away. And we need this for the American people, and we also need this for the midterm elections. Now, let me step back a step first before I go over his comments. First, what is the legislation? Second, what is the legislation for? And number three, when is the legislation? First, what is the legislation? There is still no decision by the House Democrats which legislation it would be. So there's a lot of opportunities for them. First, the government funding deadline, February 2022. This is CR for stimulus. That's where they could use a bill to insert money into. Second, they have the potential Russia-Ukraine sanctions bill that's currently being worked up on the Senate. They can insert relief in there as well. Remember, don't worry what the bill is called. They can still insert provisions into something that is unrelated to relief. And number three, there is talks of getting finished by the end of this week in the House a separate economic relief package. Now, that economic relief package has a lot of names to it and a lot of provisions. I don't want them to confuse you. I could say one word, China, and you say, well, China, we're not China. I don't want you to get confused about it because this is how these things work. They have a body of legislation and they start inserting stuff in there. So Aguilar explains that that body of legislation that they're looking to vote on by the end of the week would involve a lot of stuff like U.S. manufacturing, dealing with inflation, dealing with supply chain, and potentially dealing with competitiveness of China. We do have on our eye the economic recovery. Aguilar, of course, the vice president of the Democratic caucus and major California House Democrat, is touting that there will be absolute peace. There will be absolutely pieces, repeat, pieces, plural, of legislation that we have discussed that will continue to alleviate the supply chain issues and solve inflationary pressures. Wow. Many insiders believe that this bill is expected to go to the House floor by the week's end and could get unanimous support from the Democrats. So there's a lot of legislation to get relief in there for you. Confusing? Shouldn't be. So we started with the Build Back Better Act, now in the Senate. Then we went to CR for stimulus using the funding deadline of the federal government's continuing resolution as a second opportunity. Now Aguilar and the House Democrats are looking at that and other bodies of legislation that they can insert economic recovery in. Now, what's economic recovery? This is also what's brand new tonight. House Democrats looking at economic recovery, not social recovery. Those are very different words. What is social recovery? It is dental, vision, Medicare benefits. What's economic recovery? Your pocketbook, dealing with inflation, dealing with your bills, dealing with living day to day and paying your bills. That is where the situation is getting very exciting. Now, we're going to change the subject just a little bit. Can the president also, in addition to everything you see in this recording so far, get money to you through mechanisms different than what I've just covered? He can. Two of them. First, giving a nudge to a government agency to change guidelines. And that's number one. And number two, also giving repurposing of money of existing programs to you. All right, let's go over those two equations right now. The first one is very simple. The first one is the following. There are federal agencies established, and in their establishment, they have charter agreements that says if they want to do something, they can do it the way they want to do it. They want to dot their T's and cross their I's, they can do it. No one else can tell them how to do it. The President of the United States can pick up the phone and say, you know what? I like you. I have a suggestion for you. You want to consider doing it this way? And they can follow his suggestion if they want to, because remember, their heads are appointed by the President of the United States, so they sort of owe him a favor. So one of those agencies he can reach out to today is the following: Social Security. You get that monthly check if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, and it went up 5.9% in the month of January based upon the COLA benchmark announced last December. Well, would you like a little bit more? Would you like more than SS200 was ever going to pay? Would you like about how much this stimulus wanted to change your benefits? You can get it in 30 days if the President of the United States does it. He can pick up the phone and contact the Social Security Administration and say, you know what? You're paying benefits based upon COLA effectively March 2022. I want you to start paying them based upon inflation. Now, this is what fifth stimulus is supposed to do, but you don't need a fifth stimulus package. You don't need a recon. You don't need a House vote. You don't need a Senate vote. You don't need Kristen Sinema. You need Joe Manchin. The president can just pick up the phone and say, change it. COLA is an old benchmark that's been around for many, many years. It doesn't often move. So your benefits you receive every year is often the same as the year before. This year went up 5.9% because inflation went up. But where is inflation? More. So if you got swapped out for inflation as your benchmark, you get more per month. How much more? About 2 to 3% more. And I've been predicting this for over a year. In spring of last year, I told you that the inflation rate in December 2021, last month, would come in at about 8%. Federal Reserve said 1 to 2%. They were wrong. Wall Street said 2 to 3%. They were wrong. I said 8%. I was right. It came in at 7.5%. If the president picked up the phone today and contacted the Social Administration and said, you know what? Change it from COLA to inflation, which was at 7.5% last month, said the Department of Labor a week ago, then you would get 2% more per month on your checks. That's to start. Very, very simple. Has the president done this before? He has done this before. Joe Biden did this in October 2020 last year when he picked up the phone and contacted Department of Agriculture. Said, you're paying out money for SNAP. I don't think you're paying out enough. I want you to pay more. And that's why people are getting 25% lifetime. Next, does the president have another opportunity in addition to this? He does. And this one's very fascinating. And we're going to go over the two parts to this. The first one is very obvious. The second one takes a little bit of research, and I need your help on this as well. All right, on this one, what is the president's opportunities? The president can repurpose existing money from programs that are run other than the Department of Treasury that are now expired, and the money is left over. We had two examples of this under the Trump administration, one done and one not done. The first one was the following. FEMA, you know FEMA. A hurricane hits, FEMA. A fire hits, FEMA. A tornado hits, FEMA. Does FEMA have anything to do with your unemployment? Usually not. But last year they did. What happened? FEMA was given money from COVID relief by act of Congress for programs. But the programs were done, and there was extra money left over. What happened? Donald Trump picked up the phone and contacted FEMA. No executive order, literally a phone call. Said, I have a problem. Millions of Americans need more unemployment benefits. Their FPUC has run out. I don't want to deal with Congress. They're never going to extend FPUC. But you have FEMA extra money. I want you to repurpose your FEMA money for unemployment benefits. We're going to call it LWA. It's going to be an FPUC replacement. And it happened. They repurposed FEMA money for unemployment benefits. Second, President Donald Trump had a second opportunity, and he did not do it. I think his failure to do it cost him the election. What was it? We had confirmation from Larry Kudlow and countless other cabinet members that there was $550 billion of money sitting at SBA, the federal agency called Small Business Administration, headed by Javier Carranza, that was from programs that had expired, but the money was left over. I made the recording countless times on air. The president should repurpose the money. It's not an executive order. It's repurposing the money and sending it out as a stimulus check. It would have been at least 2 stimulus checks for you. He didn't do it, and I think it cost him the election. So can Joe Biden do the same thing right now? Joe Biden can do the same thing right now. But the second part of the equation, I need your assistance on this. One person sent me a beautiful message on Instagram last night. I haven't been able to look at it yet, but I need you to find the money. Is there extra money sitting around like that SBA 550 of 2 years ago? Is there extra money sitting around at programs from COVID relief that has not been used that can be repurposed by Joe Biden? If you find that money, send me a private message on social media and I'll feature your message on the air and give you a shout out. This is what Joe Biden can do right now, and there you rock and roll. Now, let's turn to another part of the equation tonight, which is back to that recon, the Build Back Better Act, the BBB. We last saw on this channel yesterday new concerns about what progressives are doing about the Build Back Better Act, and it started over a week ago. Then it went more, and then it continued additionally. Tonight, we have it even more amped up. Let's take it back a step to a week ago. A week ago, we were talking about Ron Klain, the president's chief of staff. It's spelled Klain. And what was he doing? Issuing hit pieces day after day against moderate Democrat Joe Manchin, senator. Not a good look. At the same time, cuddling with Pramila Jayapal, head of the Progressive Caucus in the House, saying, good, keep on doing it. Not a good look for Ron Klain, because why? The president needs every Senate Democrat to pass the recon. And here is Ron Klain literally going after Joe Manchin on a regular basis. Not going to work. Then it got worse. When Bernie Sanders a few days ago, about 3 days ago, came out and said one of the moderate Democrats' key provisions of the recon was gone. The moderate Democrats' key provision is the SALT cap. Bernie Sanders said to press it had been removed during negotiations. Untrue and untrue. In fact, Senator Bob Menendez, key Democrat, said it's made up. It's a made-up story. It got even worse. Bernie said the provision SALT cap makes rich people richer and hurts working Americans. Untrue and also untrue, said other Democrats against Bernie Sanders. A bad look, a very bad look. It continued yesterday as Pramila Jayapal, head of the Progressive Caucus in the House, did another double dig. And what did she do? She said that the Build Back Better Act in the Senate, remember she's a House member, this is the Senate, she said will go for a vote by March 1st. Who's she to say that? Well, Nancy Pelosi went after Pramila Jayapal saying, you don't work in this Senate, you're a House member. You have no idea when things go for a vote. You don't determine when things for a vote. Chuck Schumer determines when things go for a vote. You're picking a date out of the sky. And I don't see what you've done to help get this recon done between now and March 1st. You're just using this provision as sort of an aggressive statement in the press again. Not a good look. Tonight, the look got worse. Reoccurring theme, yeah, it's getting worse. Here is the latest article out tonight. Now, let me compare what's going on. Elizabeth Warren is a progressive, but she doesn't think irrationally. And this is what Elizabeth Warren said rationally today. We need to get work done now, right now. We've got Build Back Better still hanging. I want to work with all 50 Democrats and get something passed now. Perfect quote. Is it perfect? It's absolutely perfect. She's saying, I need to work with everyone. We're going to get it done. Okay. Then the article continues, says, yet, comma, however, comma, but, comma. Okay, here comes the bad news, comma. Bernie Sanders said he is now dealing with the Build Back Better Act by asking for new Democratic primary candidates to go after Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin's Senate seats in their home states. Boy. If it feels like a Real Housewives reunion and the third part of the reunion is the worst part, is the part that gets really heated, we're in the third part right now. It's just been 3 days, and every day it's getting worse by the hour. So Bernie Sanders basically said that he is now supporting any Democratic primary candidate that wants to go after Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema's Senate seats. Can he just keep it to himself? Now, as if that was not enough, when asked, are you really doing that, Bernie? He says, as to Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin, yeah, I'm doing it. They're big boys and big girls. Oh, boy. This is just, yeah, goodness. So, of course, fellow Democrats were asked about what Bernie's doing. Senator Democrats and Brian Schatz out of Hawaii says, do you like what Bernie Sanders is doing, going after people's fellow Democrats' home primary seats and trying to not get them the Democratic nomination in their home state? Brian Schatz, Democrat, Hawaii, said, it's a free country for what Bernie wants to do, but I wouldn't recommend it. Lord. There you go. So in 1 week, we've seen it go from Ron Klain, issuing hit pieces against Joe Manchin, then Bernie going after provisions of the moderate Democrats, then Pramila saying, you know what, I'm going to just determine how things go, even though I'm not even the senator. And tonight, Bernie Sanders saying, you know what, I'm going after your seat and trying to take your seat away from you, Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin. Oh, not a good look. Not a good look. That is why you want to go on social media and get behind Representative Pete Aguilar. That's spelled Aguilar. The House Democrats are thinking really rationally tonight. They're saying, you know what? These senators are just, they're acting very peculiar about the BBB. It's a big body of legislation. We don't need a big body of legislation. We need economic relief to go out across the board. Now, let me deal with something very important for you to understand tonight, and that is where the economy is tonight and why Aguilar, your and my approach with CR for stimulus makes so much sense. Tonight, the economy is in a very disjointed position, and Aguilar is basically saying the political party that addresses the economy the best will win the midterm elections. Addressing means a policy. Doesn't mean the economy's bad. Republicans, Democrats both can say the economy is not good at the moment. That's not how you win seats. You have to say how you're going to address it. Here's the economy tonight. First, we have the Federal Reserve announcing that within the next 30 days, there'll be one interest rate spike of a quarter basis point. But Wall Street analysts saying there'll be 5 interest rate spikes from the Federal Reserve in the year 2022. 5-quarter interest rate spikes, what does that mean? It means that if you have any debt, like credit card debt, student loan debt, anything that's on interest, you could be paying upwards of 2% more by the end of the year. 5 times a quarter, yeah, it's a lot. Number 2, we have the problem of Ukraine and Russia. Russia was called out by the National Security Council at the United Nations this week. Asked, why do you have 100,000 new troops at the Ukrainian border and also the Belarus border? Russia's response, we're hunting rabbits. We're going for a stroll in the park. Haven't you seen the musical Into the Woods? Into the Woods we go. We're in the woods. We're just having a nice winter walk. They didn't buy it. They're like, your troops are there for a reason. And guess what? California, Los Angeles. Gasoline's always been more expensive here, but how much is it today? The cheapest gas station for the cheapest type of gas, $5 a gallon. It's all because of the Russia-Ukraine equation. A new inflationary report released today shows that the number one cause of inflation right now is oil, petroleum. And that's before the Russia-Ukraine situation, which is far from over, kicked in. Number 1. Number 2, Omicron, far from over. It's causing its own inflationary event, and that's causing new car prices going up 30% year to date. Oil and gas has gone up 40%. It's also causing consumer goods going up 5 to 6%. Number 4, the consumer sentiment report released last Friday shows that consumers don't believe this economy is going in the right way. They think that while their salaries have gone up, they have not gone up enough compared to the inflationary numbers. Next, a new report released yesterday, featured on Evenings LA last night, shows that while the economy grew at 8 to 9% last month, the biggest growth since the 1980s, this month and the rest of the year, the economy may shrink. That means no growth, more inflation, 5 interest rate spikes, Problems with Russia, problems with Ukraine. Yeah, that's why Aguilar is absolutely on point, saying we need economic relief right now. Economic relief, again, not being dental, vision, hearing, that's social reform. This is economic relief across the board. And that's why it's also important to get that third stimulus. Get your pen and paper ready. I told you I was going to get you money at the end of this video. Get your pen and paper ready on this special Afternoons LA recording. Right after this video, you're going to see a link to go right into Metaverse Crypto tonight. It won't come directly from this video, but the link will be posted for the members right after this video ends. Let's turn to that big money you can get right now from third stimulus. And this is rent, utilities, and food and internet, rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance. And boy, it's a lot of it. Back in October, viewers were getting this number, but now they are getting a lot more. And what is it? They're getting upwards of $40,000. What is third stimulus? Third stimulus was passed in spring of 2021, but it's still paying out money. So tonight I'm going to show you how to get another round of it. It's rent, utilities, mortgage assistance. Here's the rent. 6 places to reach out to. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall, and State House Authority. And the keywords you can say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. 3 must, you must do. You must get multiple applications on file. You must do multiple rounds, and you must reach out to all 6 places. More about those rounds in a second. Next, utility assistance. Get that utility assistance because of COVID. Mark's brother-in-law is getting $15,000 a year. Then get SNAP. Get it from the Department of Agriculture. You get that money for SNAP. It is easier than a third stimulus check. Mark's brother-in-law is getting $25,000 a year. Over 10 years, it's $250,000. Then get combos. Nart, Sullivan, and Nisi start off on 3 items. Mark was at 2 items at 32. Then he went to 50,000, and now he's at 100,000. Lorraine, she was at 105, and now she's at 120, which then brings us the question of rounds. What are these rounds? As soon as third stimulus passed in spring of 2021, my viewers were prepared for it because I had it before it was even a bill. I had exclusive to it. And I told viewers at the time, I think you get 15,000. They got on average 45,000 from the first round, which was about January to March. Last summer, many got another round, which was for the summer months. They reached out to the same organizations, got a few more months. Then in November last year, I said, it's the holidays. You have bills. Oil and gas is going up. Your heating oil is going to go up. Get some more stimulus. We could call it Christmas stimulus, and they did. And the average viewer got $15,000 for that round, which was about November, December, January. Well, now we are in January 2022. I wanted you to get another round as well. You want to get that rent, utilities, mortgages, and food. Start with the same organization. Start with the same government agency you started with last time. Reach out to them and try to get it to May. They say you can't go to May. Try to go as far as you can. April, March. Then, if you remember this channel, open that newsletter. It comes out tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system. Members in there have the 6 nonprofits. The nonprofits always help. They always help. They were helping when this money didn't even exist from the federal government. They're still helping today. But more importantly, it's January. January is when they get a new pot of money. So reach out to the nonprofits today and get a new round of money. Remember, the nonprofits also help with other things like furnaces, small furnaces, portable heaters, broken windows, clothing, shelter. They do a lot of other things across the board. Coming up tonight on the Evenings LA at 5 o'clock, it is a brand new Evenings LA. We will go more into this excitement of House Democrats now seeing the importance of doing a CR for stimulus type of legislation where they add stimulus to something other than the Build Back Better Act, actually in addition to the Build Back Better Act. What will be the potential legislation? We're going to have to advocate because there's going to be a lot of potential legislation that's smaller, not 3,000 pages in length, doesn't involve Sinema and Manchin necessarily, could go by bipartisan support, and all we want to do is get a check in there with an inherent deadline. A lot of this legislation has no less than a 7-day turnaround. That's why you want to stay here, and that's why you want to stay informed, and that's why you want to subscribe. This is LALATE, the #3 most watched financial news channel in America. Coming up next is Metaverse Overnight, and then a brand new Evenings LA at 5 o'clock. Then we have Evenings Countdown at 6 o'clock, Evenings home stream stimulus at 7, and then evenings extra at 8 o'clock. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful day, keep positive, keep focused, and keep advocating. And advocate for all these incredible sums of money across all these incredible different programs. I know there's a lot in this recording, and the excitement continues tonight on LA.